Just like Tucson, the town of Sahuarita is trying to identify its residents' priorities and emphasize them in public policy. To get a better idea of what people want, Sahuarita officials asked residents to take a multi-page survey to identify what they value and what they want to see improved. In Andrea Kelly's report, the town mayor says the survey provides some clarity for town officials.
Sahuarita has about 26,000 residents and is fairly young as towns go, having incorporated in 1994. It's about 20 miles south of downtown Tucson and about 50 miles north of the Mexican border. The mayor, Blumberg, has been on the council since 2009. He says the town decided to survey residents about their quality of life because it was hard to tell what they think.
It has been a surprise to me since I've been on the council how little public input we receive. And it really is hard to know what people are thinking and how they feel about their town. Only when there's a really major issue, such as, say, the proposed annexation of the northern part of the town by the Green Valley Fire District or the Rosemont Mine, do we get a lot of emails and phone calls and comments. So I was glad to get this opportunity to find out.
He says there are a lot of positives people cite about the town government, including his own top priorities: roads, public safety, and parks, and those weren't a surprise.
It turned up some things that we really knew anyway, but reinforced them for us. For example, we clearly need some additional ball fields, baseball, soccer, the whole business. And we, of course, knew that from our usage, and the staff's reported that to us, but that'll put some more impetus, I think, for the council and for the staff to find out how we can do that.
He says the town's demographics can make it harder to pinpoint priorities. The residents range from younger families with children in the Sahuarita School District to the retirement community in which the mayor himself lives. There are new and long-time residents, so Blumberg says opinions on growth vary, but more than 80% of residents say they value economic development.
And I think this reflects a growing recognition that a lot of people who live here and are working in Tucson. And they would like to have job opportunities in the town that are commensurate with their education and background and experience, which we don't have.
The town has a long-term economic development plan, but Blumberg says first, the town needs more retail and service-related businesses. Then it wants to diversify its economy and have its own economic identity, so it isn't just a suburb for commuters.
There's a concept in economic development that I don't like the terminology used, but they're called primary businesses. And these are businesses that sell their goods or their ideas or their research or whatever it is that they're doing, largely outside of the local area. And so bring money in, but are not dependent upon local growth to do well. A very good example here in town is FICO, the pecan company. Most of their business is national and international, and it doesn't depend on the local growth in population. We need to attract some more of those primary businesses, and hopefully ones that match up pretty well with the existing population.
One difference between Sahuarita residents and others in the Tucson metro area is that those who live here don't complain about their roads. Many of the streets were resurfaced with federal stimulus money a few years ago. Sahuarita Road, the main east-west route in the town, is being widened as part of the regional transportation plan.
Unlike some other jurisdictions around, if you've got a pothole problem and you call us, we fix it within a day. So we've got that pretty well done. However, the fact that it's all new and about all of the same age means that in 10 years or so, a lot of work is going to be needed. Everything will be ready and need some resurfacing. So we have to think about how to do that.
He says there were not a lot of surprises because some of what people said in the survey was expected.
We do not have a municipal pool, swimming pool. Now, in some ways, that would be expected because we have a large number of housing areas that are involved with HOAs, and they have their own pools. And so at least half of the residents have access to pools, but we do need a municipal swimming pool.
The town plans to seek money for a public pool in the next county-wide bond election. Sahuarita residents say they choose to live here because it has what they want. Sherry Corbin was headed to one of 3 private swimming pools in her neighborhood, but she agrees with the mayor they're not enough for the whole town. She also suggests a bigger library, but says she loves living in Sahuarita.
And we were just driving around and we came across Rancho Sarita. And I was like, oh my God, with this clubhouse and everything. And we looked around, we found a house that was like really reasonable, and it's gigantic. We have this huge 2-story with a huge lot, and I was like, in heaven. So we moved here.
Stephanie Woodworth is also a new resident. She's Corbin's daughter and wanted to avoid Tucson when she moved to the area.
And it's almost like it's part of Tucson, but not really. It's like its own little, even the whole city is like its whole own community. You know, it has like the close shopping, like I can run down to Green Valley or I can run up to Tucson, and it's all really close. But even within this area, there's, you know, like we have our own library right here and our own post office. It's not like, oh, I live in this little community in the middle of nowhere, you know?
I think the results of the survey and what our residents are looking for will definitely shape the council's thinking. I hope that we will place more emphasis on our economic development efforts.